Ever feel like you're being watched at the airport? Well, the reality is facial recognition tech is scanning your face whether you like it or not. But don't worry, I'll reveal how to opt out and reclaim your privacy. If you value your freedom, you'll want to watch this. Here's the scoop. Today's scoop comes from TechCrunch.com. How to opt out of facial recognition at airports if you're American. So today's video is exclusively for Americans because this is going to be the laws in the United States of America regarding our airports, international and domestic airports. And this is kind of a hot topic right now. A lot of people, if you've been traveling, then you already know this. But if you haven't been traveling, if you go to the airport right now, especially a lot of international airports out of New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami, just DC, all the international airports that we have in this country, then you have probably come across facial recognition technology. Hey there, thanks for clicking on the video. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for notifications. Now, let's get back to the scoop. But I'm not sure if you knew that you can opt out. So I'm reading this article today so you can know the ways that you can opt out of this. So the article says US airports are rolling out facial recognition technology to scan the faces of travelers before they board their flight. Americans, at least, get to opt out. So, okay, if you are a foreigner in the United States, you cannot opt out of facial recognition technology. If you're visiting for tourism or for school or anything else, you can't opt out. But if you're an American, you get to opt out. And so we're gonna get more into it. But I just want to get that out of the way because I know somebody's probably watching this thinking about that already. More than 230 U.S. airports have already rolled out facial recognition technology, according to the website of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, the federal agency tasked with border security. On one hand, the government claims that facial recognition reduces paper tickets and that it can be more efficient for travelers, but facial recognition remains imperfect and controversial. Technical problems and reliability issues plagued the initial rollout of airport facial recognition, and independent testing called into question the efficacy of facial recognition algorithms that performed less well on non white faces. So basically, what they're saying is that if you're not white, they don't have a lot of testing that they have done on you, on faces like yours. So then they can, they can basically get you mixed up with somebody else. They can, it could be the case of like mistaken identity because the facial recognition for people that look like you is not clear. They haven't done enough tests on people that look like you for it to be accurate, basically. So the article continues, there are also privacy and legal concerns. After all, it's not CBP collecting your facial recognition data directly, but the airlines themselves. So this is another issue. It's not even the Customs and Border Protection that are actually collecting your facial recognition data, aka your facial metadata, right? It's not even the Customs and Border Protection. It's the airlines. So what could these airlines do with our face metadata? So the article continues, there are also privacy and legal concerns. After all, it's not CBP collecting your facial recognition data directly, but the airlines themselves. So that's another problem, guys. It's not Customs and Border Protection, it's the airlines that are taking our facial metadata, right? And that is problematic because what if they get hacked? And what if they don't? What are they doing with it, right? Um, Delta began scanning the faces of departing passengers beginning in 2018. JetBlue and others soon followed suit. While the airlines collect face scans to verify travelers as they board their flights, the face scans are passed to the government to check passengers against watch lists, such as those who overstay their visas. So they're going to catch you. That's really why they want to, get your face scanned because they want to catch you. The government can hold on to these photos from anywhere between a few hours to several decades, depending on whether you're a citizen. The data is also stored in several government databases, which border agents can pull up when you're arriving or leaving the United States. If you're an American, however, opting out is easy and it's your right. So, again, if you are a foreigner in America, you really don't have any rights. That's basically what they're telling you. Very unfortunate, but that's the reality. reality here. Like, you have no rights because they're telling you, hey, we have to scan your face. You can't opt out if you're not American. And we're also going to keep your data for decades, right? Now, they're saying for us Americans, we can opt out, including on international flights, but that's only flying out of the US, and we're going to get more into that. So if you're flying out of the US somewhere, you can opt out. And they're only saying that if you don't opt out and you decide to do it, right, then they're only going to keep your picture or your face metadata for like a few hours, which I don't personally believe, but hey, that's what they're saying. So this is actually a sign that they have at the gate, and it says, as you approach the agent, your photograph will be taken and shared with U.S. Customs Border Protection to compare your photograph to the images associated with your passport or other travel documents or prior border inspections. If you are a U.S. citizen, CBP deletes your photo within 12 hours of being taken. For certain non US citizens, the photograph will be used as a biometric confirmation of departure from the United States as required by law. If you do not wish to have your picture taken, please see an agent to request alternative procedures for identity verification and or biometric confirmation of departure from the United States. So, not every airport gate has this clear reading sign, okay? But this particular one does. And I'm not sure what airline this is because it doesn't say down here, but not all of them do. And that's why I'm making this video. So it says you may have to opt out multiple times from arriving at the airport until you reach your airplane seat. So, like I said in the beginning, it's not just at the gate where they take your facial metadata, it could be before that. So, you really have to be paying attention to the steps that you're taking and what's being asked of you at the airport as soon as you get into the airport. So the article says only U.S. citizens and U.S. permanent residents, known as green card holders, can opt out of facial recognition on departing international flights. Anyone, regardless of their citizenship, can opt out of facial recognition for domestic U.S. flights. So, what they're saying is that if you're a U.S. citizen and you're a U.S. permanent resident, you have a green card that's valid, you can opt out of facial recognition on departing international flights as well as domestic. Okay. Also, if you are not a citizen, you can still opt out of facial recognition for domestic flights. But if you are not a citizen and you don't hold a green card or proper, you're not a permanent resident with a valid green card, then you cannot opt out of facial recognition on international flights. Okay, but you can opt out of facial recognition on domestic US flights. And it says opting out works by notifying an officer or airline employee at the time of a facial recognition scan. Border agents or airline staff will manually check your passport and boarding pass in the same way they would have happened prior to the facial recognition system coming into effect. If you're not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, you cannot opt out of facial recognition. So, like I just said, if you're not a U.S. citizen and you're not a permanent resident, you cannot opt out of facial recognition, okay, for international flights. If you are not a citizen and you're flying, say, from Boston to Philadelphia or Florida to California, yeah, you can opt out of facial recognition for domestic flights, okay? There are a few exceptions, such as Canadian citizens who don't require a visa to enter the United States and overseas diplomatic visa holders. So, diplomatic visa holders, there are exceptions. For Americans and permanent residents, opting out is your right, even if it's not always clear or obvious based on what you see in the airport. As the digital rights group, the Electronic Frontier Foundation says, quote, it might sound trite, but right now the key to opting out of facial recognition is to be vigilant. So I agree. I think that if you can opt out, you should opt out because this is the beginning, guys. This is the beginning, and that's just the truth. If you can opt out, you must opt out. And all you basically say is, hey, I would like to be manually checked. I would like for you to manually check my passport. You know, can I have a uh, airline employee check my passport, please? That's all you have to say. It's like, I want to manually be checked, please. Or can I have an airline employee check my boarding pass and passport, please? I would like to opt out, right? That's all you have to say. And they have to abide by that. And it is even on, all the government websites. I mean, you can look this up. It's everywhere. So it's not like this is just some random article and it's not real. And when you get to the airport, they'll say we can't do that. No, no, no. It's on Homeland Security's website too. Like it's everywhere. So this is just like a heads up. You might be at the airport and you might be thinking, I can't opt out of this. This sucks. Why do I have to get my face scanned? Why do they have my facial metadata? What are they doing with my facial data points, right? This is like critical information. And what are they doing with this? Well, you don't have to worry about what they're doing with it because you can opt out. But as soon as you get into the airport, you have to be aware, alert, conscious, paying attention to every single thing you're doing and every single person you're speaking with, even before you get to the gate, even when you're just getting your bags checked, you're getting your bags checked in, you have to be paying attention because if they might say, "Hey, turn this way, I need to take a picture," all that is facial recognition, right? So be aware of that, guys, and let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a big deal? Is it a big deal for you? Do you not care about your facial metadata? Do you not feel like this is the beginning of even more invasive? Um, Things that are going to be happening where they're going to ask for more of you. They're going to ask for a fingerprint. They're going to ask for your facial data. They're going to, this is, to me, this is just the beginning. And that's why, like that rights group down here, the Electronic Frontier Foundation says, like, it might sound trite, but right now, the key to opting out of facial recognition is to be vigilant because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, guys. So remember, you can opt out. If you're an American citizen, you can opt out. If you're a permanent resident and you have a valid green card, you can opt out of facial recognition, even on departing international flights. If you're not a citizen, but you're flying domestically, like from California to New York, you can opt out of facial recognition for domestic flights. But if you are not a citizen and you don't have a green card holder, you're just like a tourist or something like that, you're on like a regular visa, then you cannot opt out. You have to get your face scanned. So that sucks, but these are the rules. So just want to let you guys know this today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Or will you be opting out happily, smiling, asking to speak, asking to speak to a officer or an airline employee to have them check your passport and scan your boarding pass? Are you gonna just get your face scanned because you don't care? You don't think it's a big deal? I want to say one more thing. Do you guys think that they're really gonna keep your information for 12 hours? Like they're saying, if you're a US citizen, they delete your photo within 12 hours. Do you really think that? You know, I don't know about that. Like me personally, I don't think so. I think they're just saying that. The problem with all of this stuff is that we don't have any verification that they're actually deleting your photo after 12 hours. You know, we don't have any verification of that. So they could literally say anything. So we don't know. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. And until next time.